Okay.
Let me know, Frank.
No. I can do it.
Frank,
Let Kirby sit up here. Let him get used to it.
as soon as you give me the thumbs up. All right, Kelly, Craig. All right. Good morning, everyone. It is Tuesday, December 17th. We'll call the Wright County Board of Commissioners to order. And at this time,
That's my era. Chicago Bulls.
Ladies and gentlemen, live from the Wright County Government Center in downtown Buffalo, Minnesota. It's time for our main event. At this time, I'd like everybody to step out of their chairs.
Oh, no.
Stand up. Everybody, put their ones in the air. And acknowledge your District 5 Tribal Chief! Ooh, yeah. He is the Tower of Power. Too sweet to be sour. Funky like a monkey. Ooh, yeah. Dig it? He's the ladies' pet and the men's regret. To be the man, woo! You've got to beat the man. He's wined and dined with kings and queens. He's never met in the implied consent agenda that he's ever liked. And ladies and gentlemen, I just got one final question for you. Brother, what you gonna do? What you gonna do, Wright County, when Casamania runs wild on you, brother? And now, ladies and gentlemen, introducing your new reigning, defending, undisputed Wright County heavyweight champion of the world, Mike Katchmark!
There we go.
Yeah, we got it up there. Oh, my. Oh, thank you. That was a big surprise. They got me there. Administrator Matthijs lured me back for a meaningful conversation. Thank you.
I tried, Mike. You were done talking to me, though.
We're stalling. Wow.
Commissioner Katchmark, we want to start off this final meeting with you and honoring you for the many years of service to Wright County as a staff member and an elected official. You've been very dedicated to the citizens and to the organization, and we can't thank you enough for that. I personally have a award to give you for fiscal responsibility and citizen advocacy. If anybody doesn't know Mike has spent the greater part of the last 4 years looking and trying to find as many ways that he can save funds within this organization, and we can't thank him enough for that. Not everybody may necessarily agree with always all the aspects of it, but his dedication is truly at heart for the advocating for the citizens of Wright County. And on top of that, I don't know anybody else out there that works as hard as you do when somebody calls them up with an issue. You go at it as hard as you possibly can. Sometimes you can make it happen. As all of us know, it's not always possible, but you dig yourself into it as hard as you can, and we can't thank you enough. So with that, this is my gold star to you, Mike.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I appreciate it.
And Chair, I just want to say, as somebody who's followed the county commissioners for years, I truly believe Mike Katchmark was one of the best. Not only loved by staff and citizens, but as fellow commissioners, he always kept us laughing. On his wall, there is a picture of the Wile E. Coyote and the sheepdog checking in their time card every day, and that's what he did. When he came in, he worked hard, and then when he went home, there was no grudges, and that's really just a really great skill. And he dug deep, and we're really gonna miss you, Mike.
Thank you, Commissioner Holland.
Yeah, and I would like to step in on that as well. And I want to say that you have taught us many, many things. And this T-shirt and what's in this bag will signify what you've kind of taught us.
Is it G-rated that I can show
Yes,
again?
yes.
Says
gate.
I'm the legendary gatekeeper.
All your gates that you were responsible for and cleaning up. Very
I'm
much
glad-
appreciated.
I was expecting some form of gate. I'm glad it wasn't a 10-foot cattle gate. But some appreciate the gates more than
Yes,
others, I'm
we,
sure.
we enjoyed the gates. We'll miss the gatekeeper.
Commissioner Katchmark, just thank you. I think they've said it all, but thank you for your service to the people of Wright County.
Thank you, Commissioner Diedrich.
And before we give you a moment here to recap your years, but I do want to say that I will cherish my 4 gold stars that I've received over the years. They are very, very hard to earn. I don't even know that how many everybody, my cohorts here have gold stars, but I do know that I have gotten 4 of them for Mike. One of them had a string attached, but he did cut the string on it. So I do thank you for that. So.
No, thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, there was a lot of stars given out. I can't find any more good stars, so it's a good time for me to go. The ones in the store I didn't like, so they're going to be virtual from here on out. But starting with Mr. Chair, I'll try and kind of summarize. It's hard, 4 years into 4 minutes or so here, but 1 year a commissioner job is like 7 years doing something else, it seems like. There's just a lot. You never get caught up. It's like a conveyor belt back there. If you're not here, it's still going around. If you're here, you pick it up. If it looks okay, put it back. If you've got questions, you take it off and look at it. But Mr. Chair, hundreds of meetings, thousands of topics. That's a thankless job being the chair. You're repeating. Maybe you'll get a three-peat out of this next year. That's maybe unprecedented. I don't know, but it's a thankless job. Sometimes you need a referee shirt at times, but you keep the meeting going in a nice way, and that hats off to you for that. And I worked with 7 commissioners, all different, but I think the good thing is that we have our differences in the big room, but it's always nice when we leave the differences at the threshold here and we go back and we just go about our business. And I always like that with the group when we're able to do that. We got different philosophies, but in the end, we get along back in the bullpen typically. But I was always a voice for the people. I appreciated the contact with the constituents, and there was a wide range of things. I call myself a full-service commissioner. Everything from the guy that called, wanted an idea of where to take his wife for a birthday dinner. That was a call from a constituent. And then there were the calls of the people that had beavers cutting their trees down or blocking their ditches, and they heard I could take care of it, and I did. Recently removed 10 from a guy's pond. He thought he only had 3. So that was just kind of something to kid around about. Just we bring what we bring to this job, and that's why we're elected, I believe. And to my successor, Kirby, kept the seat warm for you here. A lot of constituents said, well, I hope he asks questions and looks into things. So you've been told that's what they told me. And I'm sure you will. That's what they're looking for. So thanks for your interest. And I have a lot of quotables and notables, but show up and show interest is one of them. So I'm glad that everybody was able to make it today, and I appreciate the support. And I appreciate the staff that past, present, and future make a commissioner's job easier. And you know who you are, the ones that we depend on. We don't all depend on the same ones. You get different connections and relationships and different needs. But the trust there that is needed, because we don't have all the answers, I don't pretend to have them, but I always appreciated being able to go to the right people at the right time and get the right information. That's really what made this work for me. And so I thank all of you for that. That's all I have. So thank you. We'll do it one more time here, and that's it. But thanks for all the last 2 years for some and 4 years for Mr. Chair. Thank you. Thank you. Matt, the ditch czar.
Mike, we do expect you to wear that belt all day today.
Oh, there'll be plans for all day.
Okay, at this time, we will go back to the regular agenda. We'll commence with the Pledge of Allegiance at this time, if you wouldn't mind joining me. You all rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. At this time, we are going to recognize the dedicated service of years of the employees here in Wright County and the wonderful work that they do for the citizens of Wright County and the work that they do for this organization. At this time, if board members want to join me up front here in handing out the certificates and mugs as Administrator Kreiser calls names.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the board. We'll begin with the 5 years of service recognition for employees. We have Jonathan Price from the Sheriff's Office. Brandon Rathy, Information Technology. Wendy Ryan, Health and Human Services. Marissa Clems, Assessor. Tanya Persons, Administration. Rebecca Murphy, Projects, Administration. Cody Lean, Parks and Recreation. Jamie Jensen, Assessor. Anthony Robeck, Sheriff's Office. Kelsey Collier, Health and Human Services. Adam Bloomquist, Assessor. Ryan Sabaskowitz, Sheriff's Office. Mark Thibodeau, Facilities. John Holler, Administration. William Swan, Sheriff's Office. Brian Zadler, Highway Department. Mr. Chair, moving on to our 10 years recognition, we have Taryn Anderson, Health and Human Services. Jessica Gadich, License Center. Kate Dahl, Finance and Taxpayer Services. Shannon Hunter, Sheriff's Office. Richard Olson, Sheriff's Office. For 15 years of service, we have Nathan Helgeson, Highway Department. Mr. Chair, members of the board, 20 years of service, Patricia Hare, Sheriff's Office. Kimberly Hoffman, Sheriff's Office. Catherine Main, Health and Human Services. Karen Wolf, Attorney's Office. Joshua Tester, Sheriff's Office. 25 years of service, we have Barry Reinberger, Planning and Zoning. Michelle Gardner, Recorder's Office. Dawn Nolte, Assessor's Office. "30 years of service, we have Kurt Ike, Planning, Parks and Recreation. Mr. Chair, members of the board, this time we have 3 people receiving an astounding 35-year award recognition. First one is Mary Jacobson, Health and Human Services. Michelle Raymond, Health and Human Services. And Douglas Schmaginski, Highway Department. So Doug, we want you to tell us how many tires and oil changes you've done in 35 years.
That's a big number. As you all leave, I want to say thank you again. Your commitment to the citizens in this organization is great, and we can't thank you enough. Having the continuity of employees over the years helps get the most efficiency and gets us the best service to the citizens of the county, and thank you for that. At this time, we'll take a short 5-10 minute recess here to give people an opportunity to leave if they so choose. So we'll recess for a short bit. Okay, at this time, we'll reconvene the county board meeting here at 9:24. Now, going back to our regular agenda, the third item on the agenda here today is to approve the minutes. There's 5 sets of minutes. We can approve them all individually or collectively. At this time, I'll stand for any modifications or a motion to approve said agenda, said
Mr.
minutes.
Chair.
Mr. Chair?
Commissioner Katchmark, then Commissioner Dietrich.
Thank you. So reference board meeting minutes on 12/3, letter B under committee recommendations, second paragraph, where it talks about me and the lobbyist. That's a little out of context. I didn't bring up the lobbyist. I'm not in favor of using it, so I think I'd like to just strike that line reference to lobbyist from Katchmark to training center. Just delete that. If we were going to put it in, it'd have to have more context because a non-board member brought it up in the first place. So that's where I'm at with that.
Yep.
I don't know, anyone have any other changes for that one, or?
Not for that one.
Oh,
Do you have other ones?
not at this time.
All right. And Commissioner Dietrich?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like to add under A, approve the minutes of the committee of the whole sheriff and attorney salary on 11/9/2024. I would just like to add, after the discussion, over the past year, there was discussed by the committee that was also discussed that a data request by Wright County citizen was discussed with, was discussed by Commissioner Holland and Shane.
Okay. At this time, I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes, I'm guessing at this point collectively, with the said modifications or otherwise individually.
So moved.
All right, motion by Commissioner Shane,
Second.
second by Commissioner Dietrich to approve the minutes collectively, A through E. Any discussion? No discussion at this time?
I'm not quite clear on the addition to the minutes.
From which one? I should clarify. From
From
Commissioner Dietrich?
Commissioner Dietrich.
There was a comment that was made to it, so I think it is fair if she wants to put that in there, so.
It's
Okay.
All right,
minutes.
yep, it's minutes, so. All right, so with those modifications, and we have a motion and a second, if there's no other comments, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, minutes are approved unanimously. All right, now approval of today's agenda. Is there anything that needs to be added to today's agenda, Administrator Kreiser?
Nothing further from administration, Mr.
All
Chair.
right, at this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve today's agenda unless there's a modification by board members.
So moved.
Second.
All right, motion by Commissioner Shane, second by Commissioner Holland to approve today's agenda. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, agenda is approved unanimously. Today's consent agenda. Would anyone like to remove anything from today's consent agenda for further discussion? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve today's consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Shane, second by Commissioner Holland to approve today's consent agenda. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, consent agenda approved unanimously. All right, moving on to today's first timed agenda item. We have Alicia here. I think she's made her way to the podium already. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the board. I'm just here to do a bookkeeping item for our AIS management funds. For 2025, we will receive $237,999 from the state to administer the AIS program. And the resolution I'm asking you to pass is simply to receive those funds and then pass them on to the Soil and Water Conservation District for that program. And before you do that, if I may, I just wanted to highlight a couple of the things that we accomplished in 2024. I did provide a report for our inspection program, but we did over 18,000 inspections this year at a majority of the accesses in Wright County. It's the second most we've ever done. We also had the highest inspections per hour again this year at 2.2 inspections. And it doesn't sound like a lot, but honestly, it's better than ever. So we also started a AIS tool station program for the lake associations to purchase low-cost tool stations so that boaters can clean their equipment right at the access. We provided over $60,000 in treatment to 28 lake associations across the county. We helped pay for a PBS educational slot as part of the Prairie Sportsman program. And actually, just recently, I went out with the Minnesota Zoo to collect zebra mussels to try to get them to reproduce in the laboratory so that they can study them and find different treatment options. We were able to find some that they could use. So that was kind of a fun adventure, but it was really cold out. So just with that, I would ask that you pass the resolution to send those funds on to Wright Soil and Water.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve that. And I just want to also comment, thank you for targeting the most busiest times so that we can have those the most inspections done in the county here. So thank you.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Dietrich. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Katchmark. Discussion at this time. I first of all want to say thank you to the lake associations that actually partner with the Wright Soil and Water and Wright County to actually make this $237,000, almost double that amount for treatment and inspections, as well as other educational pieces. So without their partnership, we wouldn't be able to do nearly the amount of things that we were able to do. So that's the biggest thank you. But additionally, I want to thank all the staff members and other citizens that participate in our AIS committee that help us to better allocate out these funds. In 2025, we've made a little bit of a shift in trying to put a little bit more money into the treatment side of things, as we've realized that the dollar amount that we get from the state has been very flat and the cost of treatment has gone up exponentially over the years. So to be able to get that same value for it, we need to kind of shift a little bit more of it into the treatment side of it. So just wanted to pass on that little tidbit, but thank you, Alicia, for bringing this forward. All right. Is there any other discussion? Nothing. No discussion. This is a resolution vote. Commissioner Katchmark.
Aye.
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 All right. Resolution passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Now moving on to our 913. And, I was looking for somebody different. Oh, no, Brad's here. I was looking, I skipped it with 913. I forgot 908. I crossed yours off, Brad. I guess.
Okay, I'm very forgettable.
I guess.
So, morning, Mr. Chair and the board. I am here this morning just to present a resolution to adopt a donation from the Minnesota Mountain Bike Race Series from the inaugural Bertram Saddlebuster mountain bike race that we held this past year. We had 398 registrants, 301 actual competitors. So it was a very successful event, and part of that partnership is this donation of $5,705.60 that comes to us from the operations of that race. So that's what I'm here for, and I can take questions or.
Thank you, Brad. Is there any discussion? Otherwise, I'll
Sounds like
entertain
a
a
big
motion.
success. I'll make a motion.
All right. Motion by Commissioner Dietrich.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Holland to adopt the resolution for accepting the donation from the Minnesota Mountain Bikes Race Series. All right. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none. Resolution, Commissioner Shane.
Aye.
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 Resolution passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Tyler's been waiting back there ever so patiently to give us a little recap of the 2024 general election.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, I am pleased to be here today with you to announce that we did have a successful election for the 2024 election cycle. During the 2024 general election, we had over 90,442 votes cast, and we have over 104,000 registered voters. So just to give you context, I was just looking, in 2014, we had 72,000 registered voters. So we've just seen tremendous growth in this county, and that's reflected in our registered voter count. Voter turnout and voter participation within the county is about 84%. And Wright County continues to lead the state in voter participation and the percent of our eligible voters who are registered to vote. So it's a real credit to our citizens for being so engaged. I'm sure you experienced that as well with the phone calls and all that good stuff. And so it's just really encouraging to see our constituents come out and vote and participate within the system. The county elections team, we administered 4 elections last year. That was the PNP, the March Township election, the primary election, and the general election. So we served over 100,000 registered voters. We can't do that without our temporary election clerks and our election judges. We have temporary election clerks who assist us in the county. Our elections are a citizen-run process, and so we really could not do our work without the help of our temporary election judges and temporary election clerks. I'd also like to thank our over 700 election judges within the county. They help us administer voting on election day and at our 5 absentee cities. So again, we really just want to thank them for their efforts during this busy election cycle. I also just want to thank the county. We had over 8,000 constituents visit us during the absentee in-person period. And so thank you for allowing us to block off those conference rooms and clog up the main hallway. I'm sure you saw we had lines of voters out there. It's just, again, a real credit to our constituents for coming out and participating with our elections. Countywide absentee turnout was 37%, so while we did not reach the highs of the 2022 pandemic, again, it is just kind of a recognition that the way our voters vote and engage with the process is slightly changing. And so we were happy to kind of meet our constituents where they were at with that in-person voting process. And also just want to thank our 5 cities that administer absentee voting. So they took nearly 50% of that burden, administering voting at their cities and township halls and just mailing out those ballots. So again, we really want to thank them for their commitment to our constituents and administering those processes at the city level. Again, I want to kind of highlight some kind of under the radar things that we do here at the county elections team. One of those is our healthcare facility voting. So we actually send our teams of temporary election clerks and Lynette Palman, who's our absentee coordinator. She goes out to our residential facilities and administers that voting to our healthcare residents. And then state law did expand the definition of who was eligible for that kind of voting. And so it was optional, but we were able to administer voting to several assisted living facilities within the county. And so again, that's just a great service that we're able to provide to our residents to help them stay engaged with the voting process. We would also like to recognize the contributions from our other Wright County departments. We could not do this without their support, and so it's the county attorney's office, Carolyn, who provided legal support on numerous questions related to the election, the IT team for providing us cybersecurity support on election night. They were hanging out with us till the very end while we were processing votes and waiting for returns to come in. We want to thank the county sheriff's department for providing security on election night. Feel like I'm forgetting somebody here, but again, we just really thank all the other departments for kind of pitching in and assisting us. We had the taxpayer services team come in with staff members to help us get over the finish line and get us through that process. So again, we really want to thank all the different departments within the county for helping us with this election. So public service, it is one of our core missions of the elections team. We do have the privilege of being a service-oriented department where we're working directly with our voters. We continue to improve our processes and deliver accessible voting to all of our constituents. And so I think, looking back at the 22 cycle, this is my second election cycle, we're kind of learning about big problems. And so it was nice to kind of focus in on those smaller areas and really needle down in kind of those smaller areas where we can make big improvements to offer better services for our constituents. I also just want to say that we had a great post-election review. The returns were great. And so when we think about our elections process, it's that public actually testing our equipment, demonstrating the accuracy of our electronic tabulators before the election, then getting those results on election day, and then doing those hand recounts after the election to again verify that the public actually tests and the results on election day match the hand count totals. So again, we have a lot of confidence in the way we administer our elections. And again, we just could not do it without the support of you all. So thank you very much. Happy to answer any questions about the process. And we are on to our next election. It's already time for the March Township election, so we're getting prepared for those in March. So thank you.
Thank you, Tyler.
I just want to say that Tyler, you just did a great job. Nobody knows how hard you work. Tyler, as of election night, had been working straight 11 days in a row. And my two cities just had nothing but good things to say. And especially Otsego with the big amount of voters that they had come in, they said it was very flawless. So I just want to thank you, Tyler, because you did a really good job.
Thank you.
So I guess now with 2 elections under your belt, you're a seasoned veteran.
I am, yeah. It's, I started out in the city of Minneapolis, and we were doing probably 1,200 voters a day, and I never really thought I would see that here in Wright County, and it was both encouraging and a little to see that many voters. But again, that's what we really enjoyed doing. Our whole team, we just love serving the voters and just enjoying the energy and the excitement of the vote center and working directly with those folks and helping everybody get their ballots cast.
Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now moving on to our 918, Chad making his way to the podium here.
All right. Going Chairman, Commissioners, we have one item today. It's the board action to approve a resolution for begin condemnation proceedings on 3 parcels in Hanover. And this is just that's the CASA 19 construction from the bridge to BB Lake Road, CASA 34, and reach settlements with the other 8 properties. And this is just to ensure that we have access to the properties in the spring when construction starts. And we'll continue, like I said, this is a 90-day process. Greg has much more well-versed in this than me, but the process will continue to negotiate, and I'm fairly confident we won't need to go through the full process, but we at least have to get the clock ticking today, so.
Thank you, Chad, for bringing this forward. This is usually a route that we don't always have to do, but sometimes we have to start this process to make sure that the project stays on time and that we can also get individuals sometimes to have more conversations with us about coming to an agreement on it. So it is definitely not our priority route, but in some cases, we have to at least start this process to keep it on a timely fashion. And in the vast majority of situations, it doesn't ever come to a condemnation. So, thank you.
Chairman, Commissioners, I think in the 12 years I've been here, twice, I think, we've gone through the process or gotten near to the full process, so it's not very often, but.
Mr. Chair, I'd just like to add, the importance of proper compensation for the property owners as well. I mean, this is the whole process, and we're certainly improving the intersection and doing some good things with the road, but just making sure that we're getting the compensation proper. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Vetch. One question, Chad. Are you also getting the services of the city councilman and I know we have an outgoing mayor, but in Hanover, but are they also helping you pursue these because they have a vested interest in this project, they are running this project?
Yeah.
Are you using them to help maneuver?
Jeremy's obviously our main point of contact, but and at times if we need potentially help getting feedback or somebody to reply, we'll reach out and say, hey, is there somebody that has a good relationship with them that can help us out? And and so yeah, we're partners in this, and it's been going well. It's just like there's a few things that need to be worked out yet with a couple property owners. So.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah.
So at this time, I will entertain a motion to approve the resolution.
I'll make that motion.
All right. Motion by Commissioner Holland,
Second.
second by Commissioner Dietrich. Any further discussion?
Mr. Chair, if I could, I'd like to make a comment. I'm in opposition of this because I was hoping for further negotiation before it had to get to this time limit. But I do want to thank Chad for sitting down and talking with me and giving me the information that we have at this point. But I mean, we can do the vote. I'm just letting everyone know that I'm in opposition of this. Wanted to kind of go down a different avenue, but I understand the timeline with the road and necessity.
And so I understand it with being your district and having the insight that you may want to be able to have a little bit more conversations with it, and being the fact that we have a 2-week break here, if we do that, just kind of pushes us even further out. And us want to note that we're in all intentions here not wanting to go this route, but we need to get people to communicate with us a little bit more so we can hopefully come to a resolution on this. And with that, I will resolution vote. I will vote aye.
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 Nay.
All right, resolution passes 4-1. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Now, moving forward to our 921 agenda item, we'll put on our Health and Human Services and Public Health hat as Jamie makes her way to the podium here.
Thank you. And actually, I think this is part of the regular county board meeting, if I'm correct about that.
Yes.
I believe so.
It's related to opioid settlement funds.
So you can keep your hats on.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and members of the board. Becky and I are here today on behalf of the Opioid Settlement Advisory Council, and we're trying to get our presentation up. This pertains to our request for proposals that we published in September. It closed on October 31st. This time around, we received 10 proposals. We went through the typical review process, and we ended up with 2 proposals eligible that went to our council last week, Tuesday. I went to the council last week, too. I'm hoping I remember what's on the slides. Last week, Tuesday, for vote. We are bringing one here today for your consideration. We do have one other. We went back to the applicants requesting some more information. We hope to get that information and be able to vote as a council in January, and we'll hopefully bring that back to you in January for a vote from you.
Sorry, Ellie, it's not.
That's okay.
Do you want me to just run it from here?
Sure.
Okay. Can you use
But-
that laptop, is that right?
Because he needs this version of the PowerPoint.
Yes, you can have it.
The PowerPoint that we provided to you, we needed to keep the name of the applicant still quiet until today. We are able to release that today, and so we'll get the PowerPoint up and running.
See how good your memory is.
I know, it's a little bit, yeah, so the applicant was Rivers of Hope. They requested 100.
I thought it was falling. Sorry.
They requested just under 107. There we go. They requested just under $170,000. To work on the abatement strategy of providing treatment of trauma for those with OUD, such as violence, sexual assault, human trafficking, and their family members, and then training healthcare personnel to identify and address such trauma. I included a summary of their project here. They're doing some research on opioid use amongst victims and survivors of domestic violence, developing educational materials, and training healthcare providers, all in hopes that they develop new referral pathways to get referrals for their services, providing additional clients for their advocates to kind of walk the road of OUD and domestic violence with them. That is all the information that we have for you to present. We're more than happy to answer any questions that you have.
Commissioner Vetch, I have a question. Every year, people submit what's the point where they submit for these? Is this a year-long process to come up with this, knowing how much money and?
So we have put out 2 requests for proposals over the course of 2 years. We don't live on any predictable timeline of when that will be. At this point, we're trying to do about 1 RFP a year. That could increase or decrease. Our funds were front loaded, so we have a lot that we're working with right now, but we're not gonna have as many in the future. So the council meets monthly to determine what the best option is, given the funds that we have and the needs that we're seeing.
Very exciting that we have a new treatment program facility in Rockford Township. And
Yes.
It's a Minnesota Adult Teen Challenge just met the head of that, and it just opened up, and it's very exciting. So hopefully in the future, they can submit for some funding over there.
Another good resource, absolutely.
Yes, thank you.
I just want to comment that having had conversations with the Rivers of Hope, and I'm glad to see that they came forward and applied to the Opioid Council and getting some good utilization of these funds. I know with having those conversations with them that they run into a lot of the individuals that are either victims of it or are suffering from it themselves. And it's they offer so many great resources that I think that this is money well spent. And I'm interested to see what kind of information comes out of some of their research out of it. So thank you for this recommendation. All right. So if there's no other discussion, looking forward for a motion to approve the recommendations from the Opioid Council with the allocation of the funds of $169,888.97 of the opioid settlement funds to Rivers of Hope.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Dietrich, second by Commissioner Holland. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right. Motion passes unanimous. And there you go. You get the big cheer.
Megan Coleman will be joining me for the next item. Go ahead, Megan.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. Today, I am here to present the adoption of the Wright County Ordinance Amendment 24-8, Cannabis Regulation and Registration. Now, this ordinance was actually something that was a collaborative effort across the county. We had city and township members come together over the course of the year, and we used the guidance of the Office of Cannabis Management as well as the Public Law Center's Mitchell Hammond Law School of Law. They had a model ordinance, which did suggest us to adopt some public health, public health rationales to our ordinance, which we did include. Granted, we did eliminate quite a few because we do want to make sure that businesses are going to be able to, per the planning and zoning, we wanted to make it available for each township and for each city to have businesses if they wanted to have them. So, for your recommendation, I would like to have this adopted, please.
All right.
Yes. Mr. Chair, yeah, before you, as Megan indicated, is ordinance amendment number 24-8, Cannabis Regulation and Registration. We had a public hearing on December 3rd, 2024, after the regular board meeting in the afternoon. All the minutes of that proceeding are before you. All affidavits of publication and notice of intent have been filed with administration and have been published. And administration has also supplied the board with an amendment 24-8A, which removes one clause and then corrects a typographical error. So staff would recommend adoption, and I can read a proposed motion, which would be to approve ordinance amendment number 24-8, Cannabis Regulation and Registration, with amendment 24-8A.
I'll make that motion.
All right. Motion by Commissioner Holland.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Shane. Just a quick comment that I want to say. Thank you to the Public Health and Health and Human Services, as well as administration, as well as the cities, and the great participation and the great discussion. I don't think that everybody got exactly what they wanted in this ordinance. I think it was a compromise. There was a vast different perspectives on all sides on how the cannabis should be managed within the county. We left a lot of latitude for local jurisdiction, local control within this, within each municipality. I think that was a good compromise within this. So with that, I would support the adoption of this ordinance 24-8. All right. Is there any other discussion or comments?
Mr. Chair, if I could just add from administration, I do want to thank Public Health and Megan specifically for all your work that you did on this over the last year. This was a collaborative process. We went in, I think, maybe thinking one thing might happen in the workshop, and things, once you hear from the other constituencies, the cities and the towns, I think we came up with an even better product at the end result here that I think is going to put Wright County on a very solid footing for regulation and registration process for cannabis going forward.
And I'll just add my thing. Oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner Holland.
No, I just want to piggyback on that. I just want to thank Public Health and especially Megan. It's just been a constant moving target. The Office of Cannabis Management has thrown things our way throughout this process, and they're quick on their feet and always sharing it with everybody. And so I really appreciate everything from HHS standpoint and public
And I
health.
would go ahead and say too with Megan, while she was doing this, she was pivoting from the dental coordination to this. So it's been, I'm sure, a learning experience for her. I agree. I think we have a great product. I think, as it plays out, we'll maybe have to tweak or refine things as we go forward, not really knowing what the future holds. And, I guess my only trepidation is now having yet another state agency that oversees health and human services type of work. So just add them to the list, I guess. Thank you.
So Commissioner Holland, I don't know if you feel, I feel like I might be just mildly becoming an expert on it after the dozen plus meetings that we've had over the year discussing it all. And Megan, you've done a great job on giving us some paperwork that was, I'm going to say digestible, because there was a lot to learn, let me tell you. So, well, thank you. And we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, motion passes unanimous. Now, at this time, we need a summary publication, a motion to publish a summary of the ordinance 24-8 for a resolution. Do I have a motion? This is the summary publication of ordinance 24-8.
So moved.
I'll second.
All right, motion by Commissioner Dietrich, second by Commissioner Holland to approve a summary language for publication on ordinance amendment, or not amendment, ordinance 24-8. All right, resolution vote, Commissioner Holland.
Aye.
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 Aye. Resolution passes unanimously. Thank you. Now moving on to items for consideration. First item on the agenda for items for consideration is to schedule a legislative committee of the whole, looking and targeting January 6th, but open for discussion with board members.
Mr. Chair, I guess I'm just curious if we can move that just a little bit further in, later in that week, or even after the board on the 7th or something.
So looking to, I know we wanted to get somewhere by the 8th, 9th at the latest, because we want to be able to get bills introduced early and try and do.
Do we want to do after the board on the 7th at all, or?
The 7th, let's see here.
Mr. Chair, we do have quarterly leadership with the board, I believe, at 10:30 that day.
You'd have to move it to either like 12:30, 1 o'clock if you were going to go that route.
No insight.
We can meet after leadership. I'm fine with that.
You sure? I'm good with a 12:30, 1 o'clock on January 7th. All right. All right. So I'll entertain a motion to set a committee of the whole at 1 o'clock on January 7th.
I'll make that motion.
All right. Motion by Commissioner Holland. Is there a
Second.
Second by Commissioner Shane to set a committee of the whole for legislative issues for 1 o'clock on January 7th. Any comments? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. All right. Committee of the whole is scheduled unanimously. Next would be to schedule a public hearing for redetermination of benefits on County Ditch 19. It looks Matt has January 13th at 1 p.m. as the targeted date.
Sorry,
All right, no.
I just had one correction. It's the reestablishment of records for County Ditch number 19. Sorry, I didn't catch that.
Okay, no problem.
Yep. We discussed this last.
Yep.
Tuesday.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All right. Motion by Commissioner Holland, second by Commissioner Shane to schedule a public hearing for reestablishment of records for County Ditch 19 on January 13th at 1 o'clock. All right. With that, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right. The redetermination of benefits public hearing is scheduled for January 13th at 1 o'clock. Next, we have to schedule a negotiation committee of the whole for January 23rd, and time is open, Greg?
Yes, Mr. Chair, time is opened. We've secured both of these days to meet with representatives from ABDO. So their calendars are blocked, so whatever time works for the board on either of those days.
Morning on the 23rd works.
I can do the morning, but I'd have to go 10 o'clock or later.
I'm good at 10.
I'm going with 10.
10? Yeah. All right. So I'll entertain a motion for 10 a.m. on January 23rd.
I'll make that motion.
All right.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Holland, second by Commissioner Shane to schedule a negotiations committee of the whole for 10 a.m. on January 23rd. All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right. Committee of the whole scheduled unanimously. All right, now the fourth item on items for consideration would be approve a resolution setting the per diem for appointees to county appointed boards and health and human services committees and other commissions within the county. All right, this is our annual resolution that we need to pass. So at this time, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'll go ahead and make that motion.
I'll second that.
All right, motion by Commissioner Shane, second by Commissioner Holland. Any discussion? Hearing none, resolution vote. Commissioner Dietrich?
Aye.
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 All right, resolution passes unanimously. All right. Next is the adoption of resolution setting the county attorney's salary for 2025. This time, I will entertain a motion or
I'll make that motion.
Second.
motion by Commissioner Holland, second by Commissioner Shane. Any discussion?
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Just one thing, it was said at the meeting for this, but didn't make the minutes, but I agree that the county attorney's doing a great job. My tough position with this is to give a 9.5% raise to him on the $190,000 salary when we have a lot of other staff doing a great job and they're pretty much capped at 6.5% for next year. That wasn't explained in the minutes, it just said I was opposed, so I just wanted to give a little context to my no. It's not the performance, it's just the percentage of raise compared to the rest based on the salary currently. Thank you.
And I respect that perspective, and I struggled with that percentage amount myself, but understanding that we wanting to keep him in market with that of what the moves the state has made, and that as well as what our other counties have done. And then for those of you who may not know, Mr. Lutz runs a really tight ship. There's not a county attorney's office in our region or even of our size that is able to do the caseload with the number of attorneys that he does it with. He runs a lean and mean shop and does a fantastic job that we have no issues with. And for that reason, needing to keep him in the market is where that raise has brought himself to that amount. It still by no means puts him at the top of his comparables or even that of the state, but it at least keeps us in that range. And if we don't do that, we will be like some of the county attorneys' offices in the state that have lost really great county attorneys because they've found ways to work either at the state or in the private sector. So for that reason is the justification for the set amount.
Mr. Chair, yes, just to be certain, we are to evaluate based on performance and accomplishments as well as comparable wages. So he deserved the 9.55% rate.
And Commissioner Vetch, I just want, I too, my cities really appreciate seeing Brian. He's everywhere. He along with going to so many cities and safe school meetings, he also is a working lawyer. And then on top of that is working overtime as a county attorney. So I appreciate all the hard work. And he does it without, like, with his personal car. I can't imagine all the miles he puts on his car because he is everywhere. And my cities appreciate that.
And I think that's one thing that I'm glad that you put that out there. And I don't think the citizens of the county even recognize how dedicated this man is, because the vast majority of county attorneys in the state of Minnesota don't keep a caseload other than the very rural counties. But the more urbanized counties, ones that have a half dozen or a dozen attorneys, a lot of their county attorneys don't take caseloads. And Mr. Lutz does. And he does it for multiple reasons. He enjoys the work, but he also wants to be sharp and involved, and he also wants to be a good steward to county taxpayer dollars.
Mr. Chair, fellow commissioners, thanks for all the kind words. I appreciate that. Very, very humbling. And I just wanted to acknowledge the great working relationship we have. And I do love my job. I love the county. And it's, you know, the old saying, if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. And I truly love my job. But I'm appreciative of all the kind words and certainly the compensation that you've approved for me. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. And at this time, we will, it's a resolution vote. Commissioner Katchmark?
Nay.
Aye.
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 All right. Resolution passes 4-1. I had a motion on that, didn't we? I lost track on that.
we
Yeah,
did.
that's what I thought. I had marked it here, but for a second there, I second guessed myself. All right. Now moving on to adopting the resolution for the Wright County Sheriff's salary for 2025. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion. Second.
All right, motion by Commissioner Holland, second by Commissioner Shane to adopt the resolution for the Wright County Sheriffs for 2025.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Are we having discussion on this item, please?
You want, it's discussion at this point, yes.
Yes, I would like to make a statement, if you would consider that. I am asking the county board to reconsider the salary for our sheriff. I'd like to start by discussing the staffing situation in the law enforcement nationally as very difficult since the defund the police movement started in 2020. Wright County has the third largest sheriff's office in the state behind Hennepin and Ramsey County. Currently, Wright County is fully staffed with over 107 licensed deputies with a historic low turnover rate of over the last 2 years. Low turnover rate, excuse me. The jail has been fully staffed for over a year, and this is both exceptional. Compare this to Hennepin County office, which is down 15% in licensed deputies and down 20% in corrections officers. In fact, Wright County has been boarding Hennepin County inmates since October, bringing in fees of $218,000 in October and $238,000 in November. Do you know why Hennepin County is sending us their inmates? Because they don't have enough staff to properly supervise and keep safe the inmates in their custody, according to the State Department of Corrections. Hennepin County is down 40 corrections officers. Why does this matter to Wright County? Because our sheriff and his team have kept improving our staff to provide for the safety and well-being of the citizens of Wright County. Recently, Wright County was featured for its outstanding staffing at the Minnesota Association of Sheriffs Winter Conference. It is because our sheriff has built a team that finds ways to support, train, and develop leadership while emphasizing a positive, healthy culture for all 300 sheriff employees. Wright County was also featured at that conference on a panel discussion of benchmark analytics with MCIT regarding the positive things going on in the jail. The sheriffs of Minnesota want to know what Wright County is doing right. I also want to highlight that after the state passed changes to the SRO law in 2022, the sheriff trained extensively with his school resource officers in proper techniques prior to the start of school. And he also then testified at the state legislature several times to make corrections to the SRO law. The Post Board just recently adopted that model policy that will benefit the safety of our SROs and the students in our school district. The sheriff has continually strived to develop his leadership. After graduating from the FBI National Academy in 2015, he collaborated with the FBI to build the joint Wright County Training Center. The county is now contracting with our local police departments for training at that facility. The sheriff has also been voted onto the Minnesota Sheriff's Association Executive Board for the past 5 years. This summer, the sheriff was offered the unique opportunity also to travel to Israel to learn the security measures needed to keep their citizens safe. And he has shared that knowledge with the sheriffs across the state. He has been acknowledged locally, statewide, nationally, and internationally for his leadership. Why should this be considered by the board today? Because the board is required to determine the sheriff's salary based on his performance, accomplishments, as well as comparable wages. Even the county attorney acknowledged in the meeting that his successful prosecutions are predicated on the thorough and professional investigations of the sheriff's office. The county attorney received a salary increase of 9.55%. The sheriff discussed his request for a 6.3% increase based on his leadership, performance, and accomplishments as a sheriff and of his staff with the comparable wages. I move to amend the resolution to increase the sheriff's salary to 6.3% for 2025.
right, thank you for sharing your comments there, Commissioner Dietrich. We have a motion, we have a second. I do want to say that Sheriff Derringer does a fantastic job. And there's many factors that we have to take into consideration with setting the salary. And as much of this money was my personal money, I would definitely, by all means, maybe have a different negotiated dollar amount. Do I necessarily 100% think that this is the right dollar amount? Not necessarily, but it was a negotiated dollar amount. And for that perspective, and taking into consideration the market and making sure that that we're not creating a new market by being the one that pays the most, because all that does is end up creating inflation across the entire law enforcement market by doing such. So by all means, I believe that he does a fantastic job, and I thank him for that. And like I say, I would maybe. Personally, I would. He's worth his weight in gold, but on a professional level and looking at the market and what comparables in the market are at, he is still on the upper side of that compensation side of it. So when you were in any employment long enough, you tend to top out. And he is in that range of an area where you tend to hit the upper end and the topping end of your compensation. So as much as I personally would love to be able to throw a larger dollar amount at it, the capacity to do so just isn't there. And then there just also was a dollar amount that we had to negotiate and be able to get enough votes to be able to come up with a collective agreeable amount. So just wanted to share my few tidbits there. Thank you for your pieces as well. I think I do agree with much of those statements and the work that he's done to retain and attract employees to Wright County.
Mr. Chair, I will just add, it would be worth him being the top of the pay scale because he is one of the best sheriffs in the state of Minnesota.
All right. So with that,
Commissioner Vick,
yes.
I just have to say, I too agree the sheriff is doing a fantastic job. I just also have to say that we are guarding the taxpayer dollars. And I too agree that because of this salary, I do not feel it justified that he would make as much as the Hennepin County sheriff. The Hennepin County sheriff has a lot more to deal with, has a very hard time getting things across the court system for prosecuting the constituents that fail to abide by the law. So a lot more factors. Also Ramsey and Washington County. Those sheriffs have a hard job. We're very blessed because we are a very pro law enforcement county, and that if you ask the law enforcement, the deputies, the attorneys, they love working in Wright County because of the culture that we have here. And our citizens are very pro law enforcement. And there's a lot of other underlying things that I was hoping wouldn't get in. That's why I kind of objected to putting the data request in the minutes, just for his I didn't think that needed to be in there for his privacy, but there was a data request when there was 3 simple questions about use of purpose with no receipts, and because of it, the commissioners got a data request from the sheriff's attorney that costed the county upwards of $9,000, and there's been a continual bad acting and poor management skills, even though those requests were made numerous times to have that go away, and they didn't go away. So I
Mr.
just
Chair.
want to mark that.
Mr. Chair, Mr.
Yes,
Chair.
Commissioner Dietrich.
I would just like to speak to the data request. Every citizen of Wright County has an
Say,
opportunity to
can I call the
make a data
question? Because we've
request
spent time on
and-
this.
And
Yep,
to
the
retaliate
question is
against our
called.
sheriff.
I'll
The
second
call,
that.
the question's
To
been called.
retaliate
The
against our
question's been
sheriff
called.
for his ability.
Out of order, out of
to-
order. The question's been called.
That's
Under our,
ridiculous.
at this time, I'm going to say on both sides that this isn't the proper venue to discuss this matter into those depths. If those were conversations that were wanting to take place on details of a personal nature or of a professional nature of their actual performance, even being an elected official, I don't necessarily know that the depths of it is for this room, but with that, the question's been called, and at this time, it's a resolution vote. We have a motion and a second to adjust the, or not just to set the salary as stated within the resolution. It's a resolution vote. Commissioner Shane?
Aye.
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 No to a 2% increase.
Aye.
All right. Resolution passes 4-1. Thank you. All right. Now at this time, we have 7. The item, agenda item for items for consideration, number 7, to adopt the 2025 budget and levy. All right. At this time, everyone has in front of them and the proposed adopted levy for 2025. It is mimicking that of the original one that we proposed back in September. So I appreciate, once again, all the dedicated time of board members and staff on putting this budget together and working hard to try and mitigate any impacts to taxpayers, as well as making sure that the functions of the county and the needs of the citizens are being met. So with that, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Commissioner Shane,
I'll second it.
second by Commissioner Holland. Any discussion?
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Just a question to clarify on the medical clinic money. With us switching medical insurance, health insurance next year, and with the current provider is running that, is the intent still the same? I just want to make sure nothing changed. To take $300,000 from the taxpayers to help support the employees' clinic for the whole next year. Is that still set?
Yeah, actually, that dollar amount has actually changed quite a bit because of the change in our health insurance. We were able actually to shift some of our wellness dollars into funding it. So the dollar amount that's actually out of the actual levy is nominal. I guess, Greg, I will refer to you to get the actual dollar amount. I know it's pretty nominal at this point after we've put those, I think it was 150,000 of wellness dollars to buy down that dollar amount, as well as then we don't know what the utilization amount is, but the utilization amount we can conservatively say would buy down almost 75,000, if not 100% of the remaining amount.
Yeah, yes, Mr. Chair, members of the board, and specifically to Commissioner Katchmark's question, there are some wellness dollars that are going to be devoted to it, and also with our addition of a new Plan 6 HSA plan, we had to adjust the rates that we seek from reimbursement. We're almost doubling the reimbursement rate from $50 to $90 per visit. We have to do that to comply with IRS regulations with the HSA plan. So that'll be billed at $90 per visit. HSA plans have to pay it, and employee would have to pay it until they hit the deductible. But in our negotiations with Medica, they actually are going to classify our clinic as a convenience care. So employees that are on plans 4 and 5 will actually get convenience care covered at 100% at that $90 reimbursement rate. So we're going to get more dollars. We're devoting more funds over there through the health insurance, and we're also going to be recouping more funds through Medica, through insurance reimbursement. So the overall levy impact should be greatly reduced here this next year if we can keep our utilization rates up where they currently are. And Health Partners has always been very impressed with our utilization for a clinic like ours. It's through the roof, and we're borderline discussing whether or not to add another day, because it can be tough sometimes to try to get an appointment for same day. If you have a sick kid who wakes up with a sore throat or ear infection, it can be kind of tough, or for an employee who is sick during the middle of the day. But the cost savings to the county in terms of just staff being able to go down there for 15 minutes and not have to take 8 hours or 4 hours or even 8 hours of PTO to go to a doctor, I think can't be measured. And also what we're getting for workplace certifications with the Sheriff's Department, TB testing, and also just normal, just day-to-day workplace exams that our provider down there is certified to do. Save us from sending employees up to Centricare in St. Cloud or Monticello.
And Chairman Vetch, coming from the health world, just going to the Minute Clinic at CVS costs $135 for just a simple walk-in, just to get a test for strep throat. So the $90 is encouraging that that's what our rate is. So for that reason, I'm glad you guys worked on getting that down.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Sorry, but I didn't get my answer. What I got is a lengthy sales pitch, because the usage we have found is way lower. I think, isn't it like 60% or so of the employees are using it? Now I'm hearing that they're so busy, we almost have to open it another day. That doesn't make sense to me. But for finance and the budget team, is $300,000 still the amount that is in the books to take from taxpayers to run the clinic next year? As we sit here today, I never got any correspondence that we're not taking $300,000. Can our budget finance experts tell me that?
Mr. Chair, I can answer that. Yes, it is currently
it
in the
is in
budget.
there.
We have not made any amendments since we received the bids back from Medica and since we renegotiated these rates. We have not reduced anything in the proposed
Okay.
final levy that's before you.
Yep.
Okay, 300,000.
300,000 is what's in there.
Yes.
I can say definitively 150,000 of it will not be utilized. All right, because we've got wellness dollars that we won't get that money until January, when we are actually officially with Medica. That influx of those wellness dollars then would be used to funnel down half that cost. The rest of that money is based on utilization and then the insurance reimbursement back to pay back the money that we collect for the total operational cost. So that number is likely to be close to zero, but we don't know that. I guess from a strategy being that this is the first time with Medica and not knowing when we would get that $150,000 wellness dollars, and not knowing what the utilization is, we felt that we couldn't actualize that money till next year's budget, and reducing that money down to whether it's zero or 10,000 or whatever it may be. And that's where the money's still sat in there, because we don't know, and we still have to front the operational cost. And so from a cash flow perspective, you would budget it first, and then once you know a better track run on it, you would subtract it out at a later date.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So we have a motion and we have a second to approve in setting the 2025 budget and levy. Is there any other discussion? If not, it's a resolution vote. I vote aye.
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 Nay.
Aye.
All right. And the levy is passed 4-1. Thank you. All right. Next, adopting the resolution setting the county board salary for 2025. Any discussion?
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
I would just like to note that the process to set the salary for the county board wasn't followed. It was added to an agenda, and there wasn't a time to prepare for that discussion. So I just want to note that. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for your comments, Commissioner Dietrich. I will thank the board members in the discussion and in making the decision to not make any changes to it in light of the ever-changing economic climate and the understanding that we are compensated fairly within the market. And for that reason, making no changes to it, I think, is a admirable move by the board. So with that, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Shane, second by Commissioner Holland to approve the resolution setting the county board salary for 2025. All right. Any discussion? Hearing none. Commissioner Holland.
Aye.
Nay.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Resolution passes unanimous. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, if we could go back up to item number...
Sorry, not unanimous. Resolution passes 4-1.
Sorry for interrupting you, Mr. Chair, but item number 7, we actually have 2 resolutions there. One is for the budget and one is for the levy.
Oh.
We combine them.
Sorry, so we'll have to go back to 7. So how would you like me to go about that? Because
I guess that the board is in agreement.
I said my first one was on the levy, so we'd have
Yeah,
to set another
that's
one
what I-
setting the 2025 budget. Is there a motion to set the 2025 budget?
So moved.
Second.
All right, motion by Commissioner Commissioner Shane, second by Commissioner Holland to set the 2025 budget. Any discussion? Hearing none. Commissioner Dietrich?
Aye.
Nay.
Aye.
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 All right. Resolution passes 4-1. All right. And now moving on to the item B1, adopting resolution committing funds balance for unspent ARP rescue funds for government accounting standards. I believe board members have had discussion with financing and finance and understanding this unique move, largely just trying to make sure that if for some reason projects were either under budget or were unable to come to fruition, we were able to utilize them in a different fashion potentially. So,
Mr. Chair, you might want to go back and, because did we do this before we go on to this one?
Mr. Chair,
Amendments.
I have the same paper copy as you, and it omits number 9, which is on the screen in front of you.
Okay.
oh,
Yep, number 9.
oh, okay, sorry. I see. That's what I get when I print them out days earlier, and then you guys add things after the fact.
Mr.
See?
Chair, I'm in the same boat as you.
Yeah.
I was wondering where it went, and then I saw it on the screen.
And see, and I looked back at it yesterday and didn't even catch that. All right. At this point, we have number 9, approve the budget amendments for 2024. These were items that were discussed at the workshop and at other committees.
So moved.
All right. Motion by Commissioner Shane,
Second.
second by Commissioner Holland. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right. Motion passes unanimous. All right.
Thank you. Now we can go on.
All right, now moving on to the same item that we were just discussing here regarding adopting the resolution for the funds for the unspent rescue plans. Like I said, this is just a resolution, so in the rare circumstances that one of these projects is unable to come to fruition or comes in under budget, that we're able to utilize these funds in a different fashion. All right, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Dietrich,
Second.
second by Commissioner Holland. Any further discussion?
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Was this the one that was gonna be parted out between ditch
No.
money?
No,
and-
this is, yep.
Oh, that was supposed to be separated, right? Where we
No,
are,
this has nothing to do with ditches. No, this one is we have some, what I'm gonna call, what I'm gonna call it's ARP projects that are still out there that have been extended numerous times, and we have until 2026 to encumber those expenses, but they actually haven't been encumbered yet. So in the circumstances that for whatever reason, one of them was unable to be done, we could then divert that money to a different project because they have to be committed by December 31st of this year. So what we're doing is we're over-committing these funds to multiple projects, so that way if one of those projects doesn't come through, we can move those funds to a different project.
okay,
That's
sorry,
what that
that's
action
coming
is.
in the workshop then where we split the money on that finance project and then the rest went to ditch grants and
That's
such?
the workshop minutes.
Yeah,
That's the workshop,
sorry,
yep. So
sorry,
this is- yep.
just want to make sure I didn't miss that.
Yeah.
And I'm
Mr.
seeing Heather's agreeing with all of the things that I'm saying, right?
Okay,
Hey, they're giving me the thumbs up.
thank you.
All right.
So, Mr. Chair, I'll make that motion for the ARP funding.
All right, we
I'll
have
second that.
motion by Commissioner Shane, second by Commissioner Holland for the resolution of committing funds for the unspent American Rescue Plans dollars. All right. Any other discussion? Hearing none, resolution vote. I'll vote aye.
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 Resolution passes unanimous. All right, now moving on to the highway, we have to approve a resolution for final acceptance and payment of contract number 2402 in the amount of $7,984.49 to Pearson Brothers.
So moved.
All right, motion by Commissioner Dietrich,
I'll second.
second by Commissioner Holland. Any further discussion? Hearing none, resolution vote. Commissioner Holland?
Aye.
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 Aye. Resolution passes unanimous. All right, now moving on to committee recommendations. We have the first one would be approve and adopt the recommendations from the committee of the whole. This item we will have already taken action on, so there is no action necessary as there is no recommendations left at this point, as we've already done that through the resolutions above. So that one is purely just informational only. The second item is to approve and adopt the recommendations from the county board workshop. And this is the one, Commissioner Katchmark, that you asked that we be parting them out.
I would agree. Thank you, Mr. Chair. One at a time.
Yep, we'll go one at a time here. Just 1 second here. I'm bringing up my recommendations and we'll. All right, so the first one is, there's no recommendation. That was purely informational. There's no change there, and it was discussed that we will discuss it again in January. So you will have another opportunity to have a discussion on that. And if we want, we can discuss it every month throughout the next year, so it's always a fluid decision.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes. Then the next item is to schedule a public hearing, which we've already done, so there's no action necessarily for item number 2. The third item was to review projects recommendations and allocation for American Rescue Plans. Those items are in the recommendations, as everyone states there. There was basically parted into 2 phases. One was an IT infrastructure project with Oracle, and the remaining amount of it is an allocation to our county ditches.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Can I comment on this? I know I wasn't there for the full conversation, but had submitted a project as well with how we were approaching this. But considering as one of the things, again, I want the improvements done with our ditches. But part of my concern is that that we're going to be putting general dollar funds toward ditch improvements. And what about previous ditches that have been assessed these costs, and then we're paying them for these ditches, and in the future are we going to dedicate general funds to ditches as well? I'm just really concerned that hasn't been fleshed out totally. I mean, we could use this money just for general fund to offset taxes or the levy. What I would like to recommend is that we table this item and have further discussion. There's no urgency with this funds. It's in our general funds now. And I'd like to just flesh that out a little bit more so that we understand the implications when we're contributing it to the ditches. I'm all for improving our ditches, but the state law would say we have to assess those repairs and improvements. And Matt knows the fine tuning of that, but to allocate it now in a set flat amount that's not ongoing, I just think it would appear unfair for other ditches as we move forward that haven't been allocated general funds to offset their assessments. So that's what I make a recommendation.
Chairman Vetch, I just want to say that we had, I want to say September, a 3-hour meeting on the implications of the ditches. The fact that the county, the commissioners ahead of us pushed this down the way